of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This land of ours is under attack. The time has come, we're gonna take it back. Just wait and see. Don't tread on me. I won't sit back, stand idly by, watch the heart of my nation die. Oh, not me. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on my Bible, don't tread on my guns, don't you tread on my faith in God's only Son. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me.
Hey everybody, this is Jon Marietta and I am the Hillbilly. And today's show is being brought to you by Monarch Windows and Doors, Miser's Garage and Tire Center, Mung's Auto Body, Patriots.online, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul, Country Motor Sales, got to see Guy, he got a car for you, Gary's Auto Sales. It's really funny, I got two car dealers that they both like me. Gunslingers in Connellsville, and Gunslingers is open from Tuesday to Friday, 10 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Go see them guys. They're great people. They're on 612 Snyder Street in Connellsville. Phone number is 724-707-4442. Solid Foundation Ministries, New Life Free Methodist Church, Highline Motorsports. Greg's got a pile of stuff up there he needs to sell. Go see him. Get something for the kids for Christmas. We're going to get a brand new president, and so the economy's going to get great, so you'll be able to afford it. Yeah. Gun Owners of America, Hillbilly Jon Radio, and don't forget to check me out on YouTube and yournews.com. That's a big deal for us. Yournews.com. Jon Marietta for We the People and the Ink Spot in South Connellsville. I want to start out with this. Joshua 1:9. It's one of my favorite Bible verses. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Thomas Paine said it a little bit differently. I love a man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but he whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves his conduct will pursue his principles until death. That was Thomas Paine. I know I kind of rushed through all that today. I got a lot of things going on. The election's coming up. Please, everybody, go out and vote. Please go out and vote. It's one of the most important things you can do. Pay your taxes and vote. I really want to see everybody get out in Fayette County. I'd like to have a good turnout. The last time, 2020, it was only 66% across the nation, and I'd like to see it get way higher than that. If you got to stand in line, take a sandwich, take a cup of coffee. I might be one of the polls passing out coffee to some of the people that need to be there. But I really want everybody to get out and vote. It's important. You know, if you vote in person, you put your ballot through the machine yourself, you know it got counted. Okay, right. That's where we're at. I have Melanie with me, and I have Gina back on Tuesday again. And and I have a caller on the line already. I have a guest on the line. And Ricky, you with us?
I'm there. How you doing?
I hurried through all that because I was trying to give you as much time as I possibly could. But Rick Saccone, me and him didn't always see eye to eye. But right now in this election, we're fighting for the same cause, right, Rick?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're all out for Trump, and we just have to do everything we can to get him in there.
Yeah. And we got to replace some of the people that are in there. We got to get rid of some of these people that aren't doing a good job for us. And you did, a 5-minute speech or a little bit of a speech at an event here in Uniontown, and I'll tell you what, I was thoroughly impressed with it because you're calling out the people that are elected to do the right thing. That's what you're saying, and Jon Marietta's been saying that for years. I mean, just do the right thing. If you lose votes over it, do the right thing. Integrity is more important than getting votes. I think, I don't know. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I mean that's what we were talking about there. That the character is the most important quality, and people don't realize that because the amount, we've been vetting candidates on issues like pro-life and Second Amendment and all those types of things. Smaller government, lower taxes. But you know what? If you don't have the strong character to resist the pressures from the swamp and from the big donor class and from the establishment, when you get to Harrisburg or Washington, all those issues will be bargained or forfeited away, or they'll be lost. If you don't have the character to stand up for what you believe in. Character is the number one issue. That's one of the main virtues. That's what our founders talked about. That's what the Bible talks about. And we have to make sure that the people we elect are of strong character and fear God. That's what the Bible tells us. Fear God and want to govern with righteousness.
Govern with righteousness. How about that? That's powerful in itself. Just what you said. I mean, that means more than just them few words. Mean more than what most people even can think about when they get elected. I mean, they're
and it's hard, John, because politics itself attracts people for lots of different reasons. So it often attracts people with bad intentions. People that want to get into office because they need a job, or because they want power, or they want all kind of other nefarious reasons why they come into politics. And the good people often don't want to get into politics because of all the slime and how dirty it's got, and so how dirty it's become. So we don't have enough good people with virtue in office to counter all the ones that are on the other side. So we have to make a concerted effort to go out and search for those people and convince them to get out and run and serve their country. I know it's hard because many of the good people are successful. They have businesses. They're busy doing other things in their community, and they don't want to put that aside to run for government and get involved in all the nasty things that we see on television. But sometimes we have to get together as a community and convince them, hey, we need you. Your country needs you. We want you to step up and run for office so that we have good people in there.
Well, there's one man I can think of that's at the top of the ticket, and that's Donald Trump, that has given it all up, has, left a life of luxury and, the perfect world for us, for we the people, because he's, I believe, the people's president. So he's a righteous leader that we want to make sure is elected in November.
Yes, and it's funny because I was speaking on this whole topic over in Berks County last month, and there was a lot of people. There was several hundred people there, and I was talking about virtue and how important that is in our candidates. And when I was done, a lady came up to me and she said, "Well, Rick, you changed my mind. I was going to vote for Trump, but I'm not going to vote for Trump because he's not a man of virtue." And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, what are you talking about? And she said, well, he has all these things. I said, no, virtue, think of the virtues, the diligence, the courage, the honesty, the fortitude, the charity, the reliability, all the things that he's done, all the virtues of the 15, 16 virtues. Trump has almost all of them. He's not a perfect person, but he's a man of virtue and honor. And she said, "Oh, I never thought of it that way." So we've got to make sure that we express that the way the media paints Trump is not the president that we know, and we want to support Trump because he is a man of virtue. He is a man that sticks to what he says. He is a man that does what he says he's going to do. And we need those kind of people in office. Aren't you tired, all your audience out there that's listening, aren't you tired of politicians that tell you they're going to do one thing and get in office and do another? Aren't we sick and tired of that? Well, President Trump got into office telling us what he was going to do, and he did exactly what he said, and we need him back in there right now.
We sure do. Mm-hmm.
Rick, I have to ask you this question. Have you ever made French fries at McDonald's?
I did. I was a store winner. We had back then we had the All-America competition. I was in the Delgatti franchise. I think he had 15 McDonald's. Oh. And we had All-American competition. You competed to be like the best in your store, and you could go all the way to Washington D.C., ride the Big Mac bus down there for the championship. That's what we did back then in the 70s. And I won the regional champion of McDonald's, but it wasn't on fries, it was on meat. It was on the hamburger flipping part. But I did work fries and shakes. Also, so so many people grew up. Back then when you were a teenager, that's what you did. You went to work at McDonald's.
Well, I was at Burger Chef, competing. Okay. My first job was at Burger Chef. Yep.
I think I tell you what, you think about what that man did. He went to McDonald's with his white shirt on and his red tie
Yeah, he looked great.
And he put on an apron and he made French fries.
was
Now,
having a
I
good
know,
time.
I know he didn't work 10 hours. I know, but
He had a blast.
But he was having more fun doing that than he probably was running Trump Enterprises. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the people loved him. As they were coming through.
And you know
yeah.
what's even better about it? It's the left's having a meltdown over it. I mean, they're having a meltdown. I mean, he called out Kamala Harris and said, "Well, you lied." And
Yeah.
not only is she a counterfeit candidate, she's a liar too. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big part of it. That's what.
Yeah.
I wonder how many French fries McDonald's sold that day, because it made me hungry. I ran out and bought some French fries. I bet the sales went up on that day for McDonald's.
Oh yeah, I'll bet you.
So
I bet you they did.
I can't imagine going through the drive-through not knowing, and then finding out like that he was there because he served French fries or he waved.
I think they knew, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
another
sure
another
Yeah,
iconic.
they all had
I
to be
didn't know.
vetted. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they had
Another
be
another
vetted.
iconic photo though of him leaning out the drive-through window waving. I mean, that photo is going to go down in history with the fight one.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 photos that's going to end up in the history books. The one where
His convicted felon.
his convicted felon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that. In fact, we got him right behind us
Yeah.
today, the outlaw. And
It's right in my hat, too.
Then the one where they clipped his ear, and then by the grace of God, and then
This one will be the
and
McDonald's.
Then the one at McDonald's. Now, I mean, he's done things that the normal person can relate to. I mean, just the average guy. I mean, let's think about this. The Teamsters, the rank and file in the Teamsters is
Steelworkers,
endorsing
yeah.
him. The United States rank and
Steelworkers.
file in the steel workers is endorsing him. The rank and file and the United Mine Workers are endorsing him. So we're looking at things that haven't happened for no Republican ever. But maybe he isn't a real. Maybe Donald Trump isn't really a Republican. Maybe it's America great. Again, Republican.
Right.
How's that? Maybe that's what that's the part that has to be brought out.
America first.
America first.
Yes.
I
Yes,
mean,
definitely.
you've been in state politics, and you know the dirty, terrible things that happen in state politics. And I see what happens in the county level. And you think about this, and I don't know. You've probably heard the stories, but it has to be accelerated. It has to be that much more, even at the federal level, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, it is. It is so dirty, and when you go to Harrisburg, and it gets even worse when you go to Washington because of the money. The more money that's involved, the more evil it gets. And I mean, you wouldn't believe if the people actually knew the evil things that go on. They would be firing up those torches and sharpening their pitchforks, and they would be running down there to take over. It turns my stomach. What we go through every day up there, and I'm still in contact with my friends there, and they say it's only gotten worse. So we have got to change. We've got to drain that swamp. I think Trump has learned from the last time he trusted too much of the party and let them pick the people that were around him. When you get into office, when the president gets into office, he has right away 4,000 appointees he has to appoint. He doesn't know 4,000 people to
Right.
fill all this secretary and deputy undersecretary and secretary to the deputy undersecretary. He doesn't know all these people to fill those jobs. But I think now he's taken a lot more time to prepare to put his people in place rather than hand-picked party people that came from the Bushes or somebody else last time.
Well, I think some of those people are still around, and he's busy. I've heard something today. Elon Musk is part of this team, but they're outsourcing the jobs and the staff throughout the state of Pennsylvania using the same people, in the state that are the anti-Trumpers that are pretending to be Republicans. So there's still some, snakes surrounding him still, but I think he's learned a big lesson with his transition team and hearing the people that he's going to put on there. But he outsourced those duties in 2016, and look what happened. So he's learned a lesson there, but I still think he's got a ways to go.
Yeah, I tell you what, we're having trouble getting signs down here to put at the polls, but we will have signs at the polls somehow. I don't know how this is going to work out, but there's a pretty good Patriots group up on the mountain. There's a Patriots group on the other side of the mountain, and there's the Hillbillies here, and I know Washington Township. We're going to do everything we can to get it covered. And Franklin Township and all these places we're going to try to get these signs out and get the polls covered as much as we possibly can.
Yes.
And we've been doing doors and things.
And Jon, to your veterans out there that are listening, I was at a veterans event just the other day for one of our local state reps, and I'm talking to I know all these veterans from when I was in office, and one of them said, I don't know if I can vote for Trump. I'm independent. He just trashes Kamala, and he's not telling us what. And I'm telling you, for all your veterans out there, you guys better think hard. Yeah. President Trump did more for veterans than any modern president ever. He improved the veterans hospitals. He signed the veterans mission bill into existence. He did everything he could to help veterans. And they're not giving him the credit for it. I don't know how they could give Kamala any credit for it. They have destroyed the military, the Biden-Harris administration. Before that, Obama did. President Trump completely rebuilt the military, restored its honor. And he had a few bad apples in charge, some of the generals that he got rid of. He had to fire, and now they're bad-mouthing him. But your veterans, if you're listening out there, there is no way you can vote for anybody but Trump. He did more for the veteran community than any other president. So you got to better make sure you're not being fooled by the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris.
Right. Didn't he just speak about it recently in Pennsylvania that he made the doctors, prior to his administration, they would wait months before they could get in front of a doctor. And he was just talking about it, and he did some kind of bill that made them pick their own doctor. Isn't that
right? Exactly. That's what he did. So
he put them at the front of the line.
So administration that they never had before. They never had those options at the VA.
Yeah.
So he's done so much in every category. The most pro-life president we've had in modern times. The most pro religious liberty president we've had. He's done so much to champion religious liberty, so much for the economy, so much for the business community. I mean, I don't know. I hear these people talking when I'm out there. It baffles my mind how they could even consider voting for the other side. And if I was a Democrat today, I would be really mad because, they never voted for Kamala. There was never a primary. Heck, there wasn't even a primary for her to get into to be a vice president. She had to drop out of the presidential campaign because she couldn't get a single vote, couldn't win a single primary. Yeah. She was appointed to every job. They never really voted for her. She's been selected by the swamp all the way up now and running for president. If I was a Democrat, they should be in revolt against their party right now.
That's what I would think. I mean, she didn't make it the first round. Why is she there now? Like, when she was up against Biden, she couldn't even beat Biden, and back then Biden didn't have all of the marbles in his.
That's why I call her.
Attic.
That's why I call her the counterfeit candidate. I mean, seriously, they appointed her, and if they want to talk about democracy, let's talk about democracy. No one voted for her, but she's running for president. We have a republic. And you're supposed to be able to vote for the person you want to serve you.
She was selected.
And it isn't about them leading us. It's about serving us.
Yeah.
And just like you said about the veterans, there shouldn't be a veteran in this country that ever go to sleep at night without a dry place to sleep in a clean bed and proper medical and food to eat. I mean, it should not happen. It never should happen in this country. Never.
I will say,
that's right.
There was a Facebook post that was a political post, and on there they were, debating about Kamala being a better candidate, the Democrats. And my question to them was, and they will not answer, did you vote for her? Did you vote to put her in there? And they won't answer that question. If you didn't vote, if you can't answer that question, I'm not even sure why you're voting for her.
She hasn't answered any questions.
Yeah.
Her and the
I'm just saying, even
her or the knucklehead.
But even the people that are just voting for her just because she's a Democrat can't even give you a reason why they would vote for her the first time, and now all of a sudden they're her supporters just because she was selected, which blows my mind. Like, you didn't even pick her.
Well, I don't think we need to waste time on those people. I will tell you, a group of Democrats that have joined our fight for Trump is the RFK, the people that support RFK Jr. the Democrat Party that was supporting him because he was pushed out of that primary race and not allowed to compete against Joe Biden. They pushed him out of the way, and there's a lot of Democrats here locally in southwestern Pennsylvania that are joining the Trump train, and they're very nice to work with. It's been a pleasure to talk to them and do doors and supporting our candidate, Donald Trump, because they know RFK will have a position on there, and many of these people are the ones that are looking after your health, talk about your health, people that have issues with the shots and everything else the government is putting in our foods and stuff. And that's an advocate. That's something that RFK is behind. And so they're supporting them. So we got a lot of Democrats that are on the Trump train, believe it or not, here in Western Pennsylvania, are helping us.
Hey, Rick, we're hearing a lot, just like Melanie said about there's a lot of Democrats that's going to support Donald Trump. We do right here in Fayette County. There's a big group of them, and now
Monessen, where I am in the Mon Valley, old steelworkers want Democrats for Trump signs.
But just think about this. What's her name? Liz Cheney. I mean, she's coming out. She's coming out for the Democratic candidate. Think about what we're talking about here, Rick.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, the uniparty at the top, the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans, are of the same party, and so they work together because they all are subservient to the swamp. They're all dictated to by the big donor class. That's where they get their money. That's what keeps them going. So they're the same. So when they say, we have Republicans voting for Trump, we have Liz Cheney's and Kinzinger and all those type of people. Those are the big rhinos class. They shouldn't even wear the moniker of Republican because they're not. They're the uniparty. They're the swamp. They're part of the problem. They're part of the people that have already sold out to the donor class. They don't have a thought of their own. They do whatever is dictated to. And I can't tell you how powerful those people are in Harrisburg and Washington. That donor class dictates what policies are going to be run, what bills are going to be run. They write the bills. They give them to the leadership. They say push these through, and leadership does it because big checks are coming for the campaign funds. And so that's what runs our government. That's why we have to have campaign finance reform. We have to do it if we want to clean up the swamp, because the campaign money that they donate controls most of the people that get up there. So many people go up there with good intentions, but when they get there and the swamp says, look, you got to raise a lot of money. We can help you raise that money. And all you have to do is vote what we want you to vote, and we'll give you good reasons and justifications for it. And they give into it because it's the easy road. And you know what the Bible says about the narrow path and the wide path. And we've got to get people in there that are strong enough to resist that kind of pressure.
Yeah. Hey, Rick, it was great having you on today. I really, really, really appreciate you coming on. We're going to get you back on again. This was great.
Yeah.
I mean, you did a great job. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling people. Thank you for telling the people where you stand on this. And I'll be talking to you, and we'll get down to the museum. We're gonna do a remote there, ladies, from his museum one day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, please don't forget we have the Constitution and Godly Heritage Discovery Center out in Elizabeth, where we teach about the founding fathers and God's connection to our country. And you can see us on my webpage. It's www.godlyconstitutioncenter.com. Look us up. If you want a tour, bring a group through, just give us a call. We'll schedule you in. If we can do a remote show from here, I think it'd be wonderful.
We're going to do
it,
I
look forward to hosting you.
What was it called again? The Godly...
Fight.
One more time, what's it called?
The website is called godlyconstitutioncenter.com.
Okay.
I'm going to try to put that link in there.
Okay. Hey, Rick, take care. Keep your powder dry, my friend.
All right, thank you. Take care. God bless.
Yep. Hey, I tell you what, that was great having... me and Rick didn't always see eye to eye, but when he supports Donald Trump the way he does, and me and him are coming together about this,
yeah.
So I really appreciate him coming on. I have another caller on the line. Is Greg up already? Okay, Greg, you with us? Okay.
I'm here.
I don't know if you heard what we were talking about, but this is good stuff today. And I wanted to
I caught the end of it, yeah.
I wanted to have...
What was his name? Rick? I didn't catch his last name.
Rick Saccone.
Oh, Rick Saccone. I know Rick, yeah.
Former state rep.
I love Rick.
Yep.
So, I remember. I love Rick. I supported Rick. I loved him.
So, okay, you're out and about today, and it seems like us mega Republicans, everybody's trying to tell us we don't know what we're talking about, we don't know what we're doing, and I guess you've probably heard all the rumors already So we're going to keep on moving forward. So I guess I'm going to turn it over to you and let you go to town.
Well,
give us an
this
update.
is an interesting. Melanie, you want to say something before I
No,
start?
just we want to hear the update too. Updates.
Oh, couple of things. I think this, tell me, Melanie, you've been doing elections a long time. I haven't been doing them as long. Do you ever remember an election where they said ignore the grassroots and don't listen to the people that have been, in the communities and active in elections and supporting their communities? Ignore them. Ignore those, those unwashed. And have you ever heard anything like that? What you've seen this ever before?
Well, it was always there. Maybe not as open or blunt as it is, but it was always deep down there. The average person, the person like Donald Trump that isn't in the clique or the country club, you call it, just never got the invitation. So it was always there, but it's really taking center stage now that we're getting down to the wire here, and we have evidence and proof and facts, and they want us to go back to your grassroots. They think that the big money is what's going to win this election. This is 2016 all over again. And we won it here in Western Pennsylvania at the grassroots level with the steelworkers, the Democrats, the coal miners that came out and signed up to vote for the first time in 2016. These were professional people that, were, one of my friends was a doctor, never voted. And you would be surprised, but they came out in 2016 in droves, and they came out in 2020. But the difference in 2016 was Trump ran his own campaign. He hired the people. In 2020, he used the Republican Party to do that. And here again in 2024, we're seeing the same thing again. And the grassroots support here is stronger than ever, but we got a few challenges that we have to get over. It's not the same as 2016 because we've had mail-in ballots and Act 77, all these variables that are changing the landscape of this upcoming election in 2 weeks. And we're, being, tossed aside or called crazies or whatever when we have evidence and proof.
We're as a friend of mine explained to me, we're the people that are sitting below the salt. And we're the unclean. We're the people that they don't want. We're not afraid to go out and work in the mud, in the dirt, and do what needs to be done. These are the people that are supporting Donald Trump. It's just the regular people, the farmers, the like you said, the steel workers, the United Mine workers, the Teamsters. The Teamsters, rank and file, is supporting Donald Trump. Like I said, there's even a group of school teachers that are supporting Donald Trump. So I mean, and almost all of law enforcement clear across the country, the border control, the people that do the borders down in their border, they're supporting Donald Trump. So I just don't understand. I just don't understand where these people think that the counterfeit candidate and the knucklehead are ever going to be able to win this. I mean, it just fathom. Well, Greg knows how they win. They cheat.
Yeah. I just wanted to cue it up for people who are tuning in a little late. There was a notice that's come out from RNC leadership, both at the national level, at the Pennsylvania level, and at the Pennsylvania national level, from the GOP, saying ignore the grassroots, don't listen to the MAGA people, don't listen to Trumpers, don't listen to the people that have been on the ground, don't listen to people that have been going to the rallies, don't listen to, like Jon said, the litany of people. That we've got this all under control.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is the RNC and the GOP, Lawrence Davis, I love to mention his name because he's probably the worst thing that ever happened to the Republican Party in Pennsylvania. Their premise was it's too big to rig.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I go, nothing's too big to rig. We didn't come up with that one in the first place. I'm a computer scientist. If the stuff is going into computers, computers can take a lot of data, and it can never be too big to rig a computer.
Yeah.
And the election machines and the election process. So their premise is everybody vote early. Go get mail-in ballots. Because the way the Democrats beat the Republican Party last time was through mail-in ballots. They went out and they harvested them. So our plan is we're going to out-harvest them. We're going to go and we're going to cheat better. We're going to go out and we're going to swamp the mail-in ballots. Everyone vote early. Everyone vote by mail-in ballot. And we're going to beat the Democrats at their own game. And I'm sitting there as some election fraud and how it works, and written a book on it. Melanie and Jon, all the people we work with, like you said, Julia Hoops and Brian Noviak and Chester, he's fine, Susan DeGite, is probably listening. John Lucas, I know, is already listening. Someone give him a shout out, John. So, and John Farrow. I mean, there's all these people who know how election fraud is actually committed. The way it's committed is a group of people. I wouldn't call them Democrats. I wouldn't even call them Republicans. It's a group of people who steal elections, a handful of public political appointees who are running our elections at the centralized counting centers. The premise of the GOP is take all of your ballots and put them in this big, giant black box that no one can see into. Okay, we don't get to count. We don't get to audit. We don't get to do recounts. We don't get to see the mail-in ballot envelopes. We don't get to see the signatures. We can't validate the ballots. If we do challenge them, challenge the elections, we're told to sit down and shut up and that we're sore losers. So we're going to put all of our ballots into this black box and let a couple of people like Lawrence Davis's cronies. I think John Frederick said something nasty today, called us something horrible. And I look at this and they go, you guys sit down and shut up. We're going to let our peeps tell us, we're going to have them shake the 8 ball and then tell us, who won the election. Okay? That's their premise. And I look at that and I go, are you out of your minds? You're going to take all of your ballots and put them into the same system, the centralized counting systems that they used in 2020 and 2022 to steal the elections, that are completely obfuscated from any inspection or any auditing. And that's the system you're going to trust. Now, I don't know if I described that well enough, Melanie, and I'm a little bit late, and John, but did I get that right? I mean, I'm pretty sure I got that right. And that's the GOP premise. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's about what we've heard today. I mean, they're actually coming against us, MAGA Republicans. They're coming against us, and the Patriot groups. They don't want. They're saying don't pay any attention to us. If it wasn't for us, if it wasn't for let's put it point blank, Greg. Let's just tell it like it is. If it wasn't for us hillbillies, there wouldn't be United States of America. We were the ones that stood our ground and won the first battle in the Revolutionary War. I mean, we were the ones that the militia that stood our ground time and time again, and took a cow's pen which was the finishing up of the war. We were the ones that stood out there and took and fired twice, which is unheard of in Napoleonic warfare. You don't fire twice; you fire once and then you back up. They stood out there twice. They reloaded and fired again. We were the people, the patriots, the common people that made America, and that's what makes America great. And I'm off my my stump.
Stood up against the elite, the British elite, for sure.
Well, that's what I feel. That's exactly right, Melanie. That the
I think we lost Greg for a minute.
Go
ahead, Greg.
What?
We lost you for a second.
I'm sorry. Well, that horse trades. It's the reason that the legislature and the U.S. Congress and the U.S. Senate is always separated by one one vote. I got 49 to 451. I've got 101 to 102. Depending on with the Congress, it's 211 to 218, and everyone's horse trading. It's called a uniparty.
Yeah.
And they're out spending money, and basically the Trump campaign. We don't have the time to get into it because we only have about 5 or 6 minutes. And it let us file the lawsuits, challenge. There's not a single county in Pennsylvania that has done the secure build validation or hash code. And what that means is there's not a single county that all of their machines, election machines, where that's installed to make sure it is valid software.
And that's correct.
Nobody.
And that's correct. And we actually got and the other thing about our elections, which we know we have somebody that's willing to testify. We'll have an affidavit in front of us in the next few days, but signed and being willing to go that our elections, we have election directors telling people that our elections are only 89.1% accurate. Think about what I just said. 89.1% accurate. So there is 11,
and they're proud of it.
So they're proud of it. Yeah, you're right, because they're saying if everything goes right, maybe this time we can get to 91%. What about the other 9%? Where is it at? I get there has to be for human error. I get 99%. I get there has to be a factor in for human error, no matter what. Even though we have, but in this day and age, every ballot that should be counted, and the ones that come in after 9 o'clock shouldn't be counted. And that's just that simple in Pennsylvania.
I mean, deadlines are deadlines.
Deadlines
right?
are deadlines. We can't be counting ballots out for 3 days afterwards because we didn't get the winner we want.
Yeah.
And one person with a Sharpie can do more damage to the Republic than anybody just think about it. Just think about what I just said. One person with a Sharpie could do more damage to the Republic than a man than an army.
Yeah.
Well, the update, John and Melanie. Looking at I'm watching the time here. The update is one of the things I think that frustrates them is before the GOP, the RNC, the DNC, they control the tempo because they control the lawyers, they control the elections and so forth, and they picked and chose. They picked the winners and the losers. And if you're a good little boy or girl and you went in, you knocked on doors, and then you gave out flyers, and then you went to spaghetti dinners, and then we're going to let you run for some lesser role, and then you're going to work your way up, and you're going to work your way through our system until you're so beholden to us that you'll do whatever we tell you to do.
Yep.
So that's not how the elections are supposed to go. The other thing they'll do is they have the duty. They're the ones with the duty to go to the courts and challenge unlawful actions by boards of elections. And they've left that to the citizenry. Jon Marietta, Melanie, you've been on multiple lawsuits. We're all together on this Supreme Court case. And it went to pro se, self-represented people to go to the Supreme Court and demand that the DOJ, the Pennsylvania Commonwealth, the Attorney General, and the DAs do their jobs and investigate election fraud, because they don't and they won't. Can you imagine citizens have being lambasted and ridiculed for having the temerity to go to the courts and ask our government to function as it is supposed to, so that we have fair elections? And that, imagine the temerity of going to the federal court and saying, hey, you're not allowed, federal law says you can't use an uncertified machine with code that you don't know where it came from, and chains of custody that are broken, and you can't do this stuff in a back room with no one observing you and count a vote on election machines that don't work, haven't been tested. Why are we filing those lawsuits? We did. And then why are we the ones filing lawsuits? Because the mail-in ballots we're getting mail-in ballot applications from dead people. We said, well, we're not even care about the voter registration at this point because they wouldn't clean them. We're at a point now where you are sending out mail-in ballots knowingly to people that don't live here, that are non-citizens, that are dead, okay? And you're sending these out, and you're counting them. And this is a handful of people in Fayette County, and it's Delaware County. We're talking about the most corrupt, stinky, criminal minds there are. And I can say this because I can say this because I've been sued for defamation with President Trump and Leah Hoops and Rudy Giuliani, and we won. They said, "How dare you call us criminals, and how dare you say there was massive election fraud, and how dare you accuse us?" Okay, let's go to court, smart guy. And we're going to use truth as a complete defense. We'll bring our evidence, you bring yours. And they lost. Yep. Attorneys suspended, closed his office, and they've all scurried away with their tails between their legs. So we've been to court, and we've won. And we're going to court again. We've got multiple federal suits.
Losing you.
She's listening. She's on this. You've got Gino Gallo. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, but he's my favorite Democrat. And there's a lot of people out there with a lot of guts, and I'm proud to be in a foxhole with all of you, going out there doing what our public officials should be doing, and what our party officials should be doing, and they're too corrupt and too scared and too cowardly to do.
Yeah, the county commissioners and the state representatives ought to be all over this. They
should have been
they
for 3.5 years. Should have been.
Yeah.
And they instead they cowered. They cowered.
How many hearings did they show up to? Like one, maybe? The very first.
The only one that they thought they were scared was going to go the wrong way, and once it went my way, then they had real problems, and then they called the governor to come in and to help them out. The governor of the state of Pennsylvania is squashed these cases. We know that the state AG has squashed these cases. They've done it. We know that. We got the emails, don't we, Greg?
Yep, we have them. And one thing I wanted to say, because I'm looking at the time, John, jumping in, the one important fact is our SCOTUS case, 23 people across Pennsylvania, has been inducted. 24-430, that's the docket number. It has been scheduled right now for November 17th, which is after the election, but there's there's a motion to expedite that is in the hands of Judge Alito. He's going to go, the procedures are, he brings it to the justices on Friday, and they decide if they want to expedite it. I think we've given good cause for them to want to expedite it. I think they will. We got a really good shot. But that's been docketed. The other piece of news there is we have multiple people who are currently writing amicus briefs, which are very important, which include attorney generals of states and some highly esteemed members of the bar and highly esteemed people who are writing friends of the court briefs in support of our case, which is unusual. You don't see that too often for pro se cases. But one thing I just wanted to give that status is these cases are filed. They are in. They will be adjudicated before, during, and after the election. And we're going to keep fighting to protect the ballot box for the people who vote. And I want to make sure. I just wanted to get that in there, John.
I appreciate it.
That's good.
We're gonna have you back on again tomorrow with some other updates, and we're going to talk about a little bit.
What was the docket number? Once again, can they look up that case by the docket number, Greg?
Yes, you can go to the Supreme Court, and the docket number is 24-430.
Okay.
2024-430.
Okay.
Okay, Greg. Thanks a lot. I'll be talking to you later this evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Goodbye.
Fight.
Anyways, we got a minute to go, and that's where we're at.
good.
I always close up my show with this, but with something. But go ahead, Melanie.
Say my little prayer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have a little election prayer here that we need to be doing for the next 14 days till Election Day. Father God, let good and righteous leaders be elected and seated in office in every jurisdiction in America this year. Let every wicked and evil politician be removed from office in these elections. Let every legal vote be counted properly, honestly, and with correct protocols. Let every true registered legal voter be permitted to vote, and let no illegal or false votes be entered into the count at all. Also, Father, we pray that you would protect these elections from fraud of any kind. Let every plan for fraud be prevented and laid waste before it's ever implemented. Let righteousness be exalted in these elections, Lord, and work a miracle on behalf of your people. Amen.
And I always close with this big platform. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. People change. Things go wrong. Just remember, the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am Jon Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.